Society tells us that we gotta wake up every day to go to a job that we do not like to impress people that we also don't like. But what if I told you that you can manifest a life that you love and still have the wealth and still be around people that love you, but you no longer have to have those limitations? This can be your reality. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how I do it. Wash away the stress, negative energy, and everything you've been holding in. My SatinSays.com ritual body washes are powerful cleansing experiences where you refresh your mind, your body, and your spirit. Infuse your life with love and abundance. Because who doesn't want to be rich? We all want to be rich. That is your birthright. My delicious manifesting body oils attract the energy you desire. It doesn't just smell good. The conjure is top tier. When you put on my amulets and talisman, all my spiritual jewelry, you become the spell. You exude the spell. You walk with that confidence. You walk with that energy and aura around you. There is nothing like it. SatinSays.com Florida water invites harmony and joy into your life, invoking angelic energy and powerful spiritual energy. Remember to cleanse your environment and your spirit. Everywhere you go, you are interacting with different spirits, sometimes different demonic energies. It is up to you to make sure that you're protecting yourself.
SatinSays, I want to welcome you. I Never Knew TV. What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
Everything's good, man. Glad to have you. I want to get right into it. I'm interested in hearing some history from your perspective. So, from what I understand, you come from a bloodline of root workers, right? And the question I have for you is that did your grandmother and mother teach you directly, or is this something you came into on your own?
They both taught me directly. Yeah, so it's in the bloodline, so it's something that we all have, we all possess. So it gets passed on to all the daughters usually.
And what was the introduction like for you earlier on in your life as a child?
Uh, well, I didn't know what it was initially as a child. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know it was root work. I didn't know it was witchcraft. It was just a way of life. It was just how we did certain things to get what we wanted. So I like would assist my grandmother with certain rituals. They call it alpasa. So it's kind of like an apprentice or something. So I would like help her like gather the herbs. I would help her, you know, get the altar together and everything. So that was my introduction to it. Understanding how we're utilizing nature and herbs, and respecting nature as well. I didn't know at the time that it was root work. No.
And when did you start doing it on your own?
Probably about 11 or 12. I started doing my own rituals.
So what was that like socially though? Like you're doing root work, right? Were you hiding it from your friends? Were you letting your friends know? What was that aspect like?
No, all my friends knew and they loved it. Everybody wanted to be a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was nothing I needed to hide. I didn't grow up in a culture that like looked down on it. At least for my friends, my group of friends. There was nothing negative. There wasn't a connotation of negativity because that usually is taught anyway. So because they didn't probably understand what I was doing anyway, they didn't look at it as something bad. So I didn't have to hide it, and I didn't grow up thinking that I needed to hide it. So there was never anything negative about it.
All right. You just previously spoke about nature.
Mm-hmm.
Can you break down for the viewers? I've had numerous people on the show speak about libations. I
Okay.
wanted to hear your perspective and understanding of libations.
A libation is an
And then,
offering.
and,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. It's okay.
no, and could you explain the importance of it?
Well, you have to give offering to your ancestors, right? So people, a lot of the times, they'll ask for something, and they're not giving them anything in return. It's like always going to a friend trying to borrow money, and never being there for the friend. So you have to give them their offering. It doesn't have to be libation. Doesn't have to be liquor or water or whatever libation you're using. It can be food. It can be money, whatever the case may be. But you have to give them something, or else you're only taking.
In regards to that connection, right? Like, I notice a lot of people have a problem in regards to like connecting with ancestors and connecting with a particular culture, especially when they're born in America.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone starting trying to connect with their ancestors?
Well, first of all, we need to understand that we're born connected to our ancestors. We have their blood. There's no, you know, denying that fact. This is genetics. This is basic science, right? However, when we get into the spirituality aspect of it, you're probably going to have to unlearn some of the lies you've been told about African traditional spirituality, about ancestral veneration. And what's interesting, a lot of people don't notice, is that spirituality predates all religion. That's just the truth. Religion was created. Not only was it created, like even the ancient Chinese still to this day practice ancestral veneration. Nobody talks about that. They only talk about when black people do it because it was like basically shunned upon because when they brought the Africans to America, it was like, no, you cannot practice that. Now you are going to practice what's in this Bible because the Bible now basically is a method of manipulation. So if we tell you you're going to go to hell and you're going to die if you don't basically do what we say, you're probably going to do what they say. So they stopped practicing anything ancestral and started practicing Christianity, Catholicism, which basically is the same thing. So if you want to get into it, you're going to have to unlearn some of those lies. And unfortunately, that is passed down generation to generation. And until you start questioning these things, until you start looking for these answers, you're probably going to think it's evil or whatever they call it, demonic. I don't know.
I know you've gotten a lot of feedback from people over the years from the work that you do, right?
Yeah.
So, what are some of the lies, the main lies people have in their mind about what Professor Smalls would call the sacred sciences, the African sacred sciences?
The biggest lie is that witches or anybody that's manifesting or touches on voodoo, hoodoo, spirituality is doing devil work or devil practice, whatever. Um, the biggest thing that I don't understand about that is that the devil is something that's in the Christian Bible, it's a Christian belief. So that doesn't make sense to us. We don't believe in that. We don't believe in the devil. I don't believe in none of that. So that is the biggest lie. That's definitely the biggest lie because it doesn't even make logical sense. If I don't believe in it, but you believe in it, how are you going to tell me that's what I practice? That's what you believe. I don't practice that shit.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So, I know you learn from the grandmother and mother, right? But anyone when they grow in their craft,
Mm-hmm.
did you find yourself having a deeper understanding with them because you're in a different time, in a different space?
What do you mean deeper understanding? I don't know what you mean.
Deeper understanding of root work. So it's like, you know, with generations, they have a
Oh,
certain limitation to what they know, but the
yeah,
new generation takes it to different heights. Do you
yeah.
find yourself having a deeper understanding than your grandmother or mother did?
I wouldn't say
Are you
deeper
still growing?
understanding. I am just able to tap into more energies than they did, only because they probably didn't even need to, didn't want to. But now we have access to more things, and I meditate way more than them. You know, I get higher, ascension with my meditation. So they didn't do that. So I can do things that my mother didn't do because I am just doing more root work. I'm doing different root work. What she taught me was ancient knowledge, which still is very powerful. But they didn't think of the things that I do. They don't manifest the things that I do. So I would say it's different, but not necessarily better. And like I said, I can tap into higher, areas of manifesting than they did.
All right. Next question I have is, when did you start providing services to others, and what was that experience like initially?
Well, I always would do like tarot readings for like all my friends, like in high school and everything. But when I got to college, I started getting paid for it because people noticed that people noticed that I can actually do this. So they're like, oh, Satin does, da da da, and they started paying me. So after that, like it became widespread. Nobody was afraid of it. Nobody was afraid of anything. They wanted to get answers. Is the boyfriend cheating? Are they going to get a new job? All these things. So after, a couple of like maybe months of doing that, and I realized like, okay, there's a huge like interest in this. I'm like, I'm gonna make this like a thing. So I would literally go to college on lunchtime. I would go to lunch, and people would come to my table, and I would do readings every day.
And for those unaware, right? Can you
Mm-hmm.
explain what readings are for those watching that are unaware?
Well, that's a huge term, right? So readings can be anything. It can be bone throwing. It can be the tarot cards, which depending on who you are, it might look different. Um,
Yeah.
you can do divination. There's just so many ways to do reading. Some people do it in tea, like you drink your tea and then they read the tea, or they read the leaves
The
that are
read.
left over.
Can you can you explain the readings you were doing in college for people?
I did tarot readings.
All
Yeah. Hmm. So tarot readings are
right. And
basically
explain.
the cards.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a tarot reading is, I'm sure plenty of people have seen people with crystal balls, and then they take the cards and they put the cards down and they say, "Oh, this is what's happening in your life." That's what I did.
All right. Um, and how did you grow to start providing services to celebrities?
Well, it's interesting. So as I gained like popularity on campus and just around town, one of my friends was in a relationship with an NBA player. So I did it for him. He started telling all his friends, and it just blew up from there. Blew up because everybody started coming to me.
And,
It
and
wasn't
what?
as like so like public people don't mind telling people like, yeah, I go to her, but celebrities would say I go to her, but don't tell nobody. So yeah, like their closest friends they would tell.
And initially, right,
Mhm.
were the celebrities I take it were just coming for readings at the time because that's what you were doing.
Oh no, they found out about my root work. They
Yeah.
wanted heavy stuff.
And when did you grow into the root work though? Like when did you grow into regards? Because I know you're doing the tarot reading, but when did
Yeah,
you grow in regards to doing root work?
I've been doing root work the whole time. It's just
Yeah.
physically when I was there, I was doing the tarot readings because those are pretty easy, quick. Root work takes work, so I was
And
doing
for
it the whole
those,
time.
we're here to educate the people, right? Can you delve a little deeper and explain what root work is for those unaware?
So you utilize the power of manifestation. You utilize nature, earth, air, fire, water, the elements to make change in your life. It can be for money, it can be for love, it can be for protection. It depends what you want.
All right. And another question I had for the root work, I'm pretty sure you got this question.
Okay.
Um, how do you protect yourself from someone doing root work on you?
Okay. So you know if you're a good person and you know if you're a bad person. Everybody knows when they're doing something that's going to hurt someone or conniving or backstabbing or something that's going to help someone or heal them. If you are trying to be an antagonizer and harm someone, you're open to somebody doing work on you. You're open to somebody spiritually attacking you, even if they don't know how to do work. Sometimes when people say things, they try to curse you. So it's not just worry about the witches that's going to get back on you. If you're not doing anything against anybody, you're fine. You're fine. Just don't be an attacker. Then you won't be attacked.
All right, cool. All right. I want to speak about the hypocrisy of our culture when it comes to things like Santeria,
Mm-hmm.
voodoo, voodoo. Um, people will publicly criticize it and show disdain while privately practicing it and searching out for the services, right?
Correct.
Um, why do you believe this is the case?
Well, most people get their information of what things are, unfortunately, because they're not educated and they don't seek the information or study it correctly. They get it from movies or they let somebody else tell them what it is and they never question it. They never question it. They don't go out to the person that they're talking about. They don't go out and speak to witches. They just say, oh, witches are doing this, witches are doing that. So that goes back in our culture. I'm just saying in our culture specifically, that goes back to, again, when the slaves were enslaved were brought here and basically said, you can't practice what you practice over there. You have to follow what's here. So everything that they did was demonized, okay? Because if they followed their actual African traditional spirituality, they're not going to allow themselves to be oppressed. But if you can utilize the Bible to manipulate, it's a method of manipulation, it's so much easier. They're not going to question anything. You can't question. You can't question in that culture. So that's basically where it comes from. It's really about not being educated, not asking the questions, not looking at it as a logical way, but just blind faith. If you look at it logically, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But it's easier,
But
to be manipulated.
you know what I find crazy
Mm-hmm.
is that if you really study Christianity and the stuff that they do,
Mm-hmm.
it has the same, it has many similarities. The wording is just different in
Yeah,
regards to certain
yeah.
practices and the things that they do. And it's so funny to me. Like if you go to a Catholic church,
Hmm.
one can criticize it the same way you would criticize African spirituality
That is
because what are they
correct.
doing and what are they worshiping? That's the part that's kind of comical to me sometimes. You know?
So that is because, again, spirituality predates religion. Religion was created, right? So you have to think about the practices of these rituals, um, utilizing earth, air, fire, and water, utilizing the same things we use, because that information is literally what we had. So when you take that and then you create religion, the only spirituality you know, what's the root word? Ritual. So they're still utilizing rituals in religion, but calling it something else because they utilize semantics just like any other cult leader does in order to, get your mind thinking, no, that's not what it is, but that's exactly what it is. It's just semantics. That's all it is.
Do you think social media has helped or hurt um, people's view of root work or what you refer to as witches?
I don't think it's helped or hurt. I think it's the same. I don't think anything has really changed. I think more people are just interested. I think people
Yeah.
that used to just say, I only believe in religion, I only believe in this because this is what I was taught. Correct. You were taught it. You were not born this way. You were taught that. And so now they're starting to question things because they realize, they've been praying and praying and praying and nothing works. They see these
Right,
pastors
man.
that are
They say
filthy
that.
rich. Why are these
Right.
pastors filthy rich? Why do they have these mega houses and they don't pay taxes on it? They're starting to realize that these pastors are pimps. They're starting to realize that what's really going on is manipulation. So people are more interested, but I won't say that it's like negative, but I also won't say it's not necessarily positive because you have both ends of the spectrum.
I have another part of this question. In regards to your clientele, right?
Okay.
Whether it's direct work or selling products,
Mm-hmm.
is it more men or females?
Both. Men are just quiet about it. They're when the men send me reviews, they say, "Can you not post this?" The women love when I post their reviews. They're like, "Yes, girl, thank you so much. I got married, I got this, that. You helped my life." But the men, they'll tell me that, but they'll be like, "Just don't post it." Men don't like to say that they do the craft or that they believe in the craft. They don't want nobody to know, but it won't stop
And,
them.
and what are the things the men are asking for the most? Also, what are the things the women are asking for the
They
most?
ask for the same thing. They want money. They want love. They all ask for the same thing. I think more men want protection, though. I have a lot of men that come to me that have people that are either after them or they're afraid somebody's going to attack them. I find more men are worried about protection. I think that would be the variance.
All right. We kind of went over the mental prison, so we're gonna skip that one, right? So
Yeah,
I want to talk about lucid dreaming, right?
yeah.
Can you explain for those watching what lucid? It's a three-part question, all right? The
Okay.
first part is I want you to explain for those watching what lucid dreaming is.
It's basically like visualization in order to manifest what you want. So you're creating what that dream is. Usually, when we get to REM sleep, we now have our brain as the driver, right? That's dangerous. That's why you have sometimes nightmares and you can't control that dream. But when you lucid dream, you are now imprinting what's going to happen. You are the narrator. You change the scene. And what you can do through lucid dreaming is manifest literally through dreaming. So that's what it is in a nutshell.
All right. So in the past, when I've heard people speak about lucid dreaming, I've also heard them speak about going to other dimensions, right? Um, can you break that down for those watching in regards to the other dimensions one can experience in lucid dreaming?
Yeah, so there's limitless amount of dimensions because essentially we live in one dimension. The universe is vast, so when you are going through either astral projection or lucid dreaming, you can tap into any of them. It's essentially a portal. Einstein called these wormholes, which basically you can also go back in time or you can go to the future. And that is how you utilize it for manifestations. You can say what happened, what is happening now, but then you're manifesting what you want to happen in the future. That is the dimension that you're going to. And there's many of them. There's not everybody can dream and everyone's going through a different dimension. It isn't It isn't like what is the word? It's not like cohesive for everyone.
Yeah.
It's different.
All right. And what else can be accomplished while being in those other dimensions? I know you spoke about manifestation, but what other experiences could take place while in other dimensions?
You manifest is usually the main reason why people come to me when they want to lucid dream. That's why I spoke about it. But you can also meet your guardian angels. You can talk to your ancestors or anybody that has passed. It is like that veil that people talk about being lifted. You can go through these dimensions to be able to contact people on the other side in the spiritual world. Because now it doesn't have that subconscious mind that's blocking you from that. Your pineal gland is open, your third eye is open. You're able to really communicate with the spiritual world without all the crap from your waking world basically blocking you. And that's what it does. Your food does that. Social media does that. Um, the pharmaceuticals does that. So you no longer have any of those things. You're able to communicate straight with the spiritual world.
And how does a person get to the point where they can enter another dimension?
So how can I lucid dream?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a body oil called Lucid Dream that helps people tap into that before they go to sleep. So I have a spiritual wash that they use, then they use the Lucid Dream and body oil, and then when they go to sleep, it's powerful. A lot of people come to me and like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be like this. So I do my root work for them to do that because it takes a lot, and they're not going to go do all of that work. So they come to me, they get the Lucid Dream body oil, and that's how they able to lucid dream.
All right. All right. So I want to touch on manifestation deeper, but I want to ask you something real quick.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people come to me for manifestation, right?
Correct.
The question I have though, are people ready for the things they ask for?
No. No. 9 times out of 10, they're not. Some people ask for things that they don't even think is possible. And so that's why I think it's interesting when people are like, oh, well, I want to manifest $1 million. Can you help me manifest $1 million? Do you think that you can manifest $1 million? Have you tried to manifest $10,000 first? So I try to be realistic with these people because I think they come to witchcraft, they come to voodoo, they come to spirituality, manifesting, thinking that it is like a genie and you can just do whatever. Like, are you really ready for that? A lot of people say that they want a mansion, but they are not ready to actually maintain a mansion. They say they want $1 million, but can you maintain $1 million? Do you know how much that goes into that? They're not ready for that. So I also help them heal. I help them kind of change that viewpoint of success that really isn't their viewpoint. Everybody's success should be different because what matters to you doesn't matter to the next person. The problem is they allow society to tell them what success looks like. I need to have a G Wagon. I need to have a mansion. I need to have this and that. No, you don't. No, you don't. So when they come to me, I'm not just saying, okay, I'll give you that $1 million. I know you're not ready for the $1 million because you're going to get it and you're going to spend it all. Then you're going to come back to me and say, can I get another million? No, you weren't even ready for that million. So I usually look at them individually. That's why I do custom woodwork.
The question I have though with the manifestation, right?
Okay.
When people approach manifestation, a lot of them, for me, sometimes I hear it's more a Christian mindset in the sense that you're just going to pray for this thing, it's going to come. In order for please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
In order for manifestation to work, even with your assistance, doesn't the person have to be on the path already working towards that thing?
That's basic common knowledge. But not a lot of people have common knowledge, common sense. You can't just sit down. You want me to manifest, a man to come in your life. You're sitting down in your house all day, every day, and you never go outside. You're gonna have to go outside.
So do you decline? How does it work?
I do. I decline.
You
40% of people.
How does it work on your end? Do you decline to certain clients? Like you analyze the situation where they're asked for, and like, man, this can't work, and you just decline it, or how does it work?
Not that it can't work. I can make anything work. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
Do they deserve it? Are they ready for it? Are they gonna mess it up? That is the question. So if I already do their divination and I know that they're gonna mess it up, then no, I'm not gonna do it. And I let them know. And a lot of the times they're angry about it, but it is what it is. I don't have to take everybody on as a client. I don't need to. I've gotten to a level that literally I can tell people, I'm not doing anything for you. I'll have 10,000 other people that come to me this year. I'm here.
The people that come, I observe this from the outside. So
Okay.
I interviewed a lot of reggae artists, and I actually know three who go to Obeah Man in Jamaica, right? They admitted, they wouldn't say
Okay.
it publicly, but one actually wears a garter ring. But the thing I
Okay.
didn't understand, say it again?
Oh no, no, no. That's exciting.
Oh, so the thing, observing, right? Just observe because I didn't ask them anything. You know, we're there a reason and they open up to me.
Okay.
One actually wears a guard ring. I'm not sure if people understand what the ring is for, but he does wear the ring all the time. The thing I didn't understand was like, I don't know if for some of them, in this aspect, I'm not saying it all, in my experience, it
Mm.
seemed like a confidence issue because it's like you couldn't manifest this on your own without the assistance.
No, that's why they come to me.
So, what's the difference? All right, so please explain, right? You have a person, we'll use a reggae artist, right? Or artist. An artist in general is doing this thing, making music, and he's trying to manifest it on his own. What's the difference from that person manifesting on his own without your assistance and manifesting it with your assistance?
Because they don't even know how to tap into the energies that I can. They don't have that power. They weren't given this gift. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Um, all right. Can you give us some examples of things that happen during our daily life, which are really our ancestors trying to communicate with us?
Um, there are animal omens, animal, like sometimes you might see a crow, sometimes you might see a butterfly, or a bunch of butterflies touch you, or a bunch of ladybugs. Angel numbers, so you keep seeing 333 or 888 constantly, 555. It's like you look up, it's 555. You look up again, 555. You see a truck, it says 555. They contact you in many ways, many ways. Sometimes they actually speak, but it depends if you're receptive to it or not.
All right. Can you give us examples of things that happen during our daily life, which are really our ancestors trying to communicate with us?
It can be anything from animals that you keep seeing. If you keep seeing a crow, if you keep seeing butterflies, it can be angel numbers. If you keep seeing 333, 555, 888, that's them trying to communicate with you. And then sometimes they can actually speak to you, but that's usually when you've reached a certain level of meditation and higher ascension.
Can you tell us what's the importance of the significance of the ladybugs and the butterflies?
They're just like messages or omens. So they utilize things that are around you to get your attention. Just like when you dream sometimes and you dream of somebody and you say, I never met that person before. Because they know that you're going to get the message because you're going to say, I never met them, but I remember that entire dream. But if they utilize somebody you saw every day, you probably wouldn't remember it. So they're just utilizing things that are around you that are going to get your attention so that you know that they're speaking to you. Or at the very least, you look into it.
And I always hear the significance of waking up at 3 a.m. Is there any significance to waking up at 3 a.m.?
3 to 5 a.m. Yes. So 3 to 5 a.m., we call it the witching hour. You're more than likely able to tap into manifesting energy at the highest point, at the highest portal between 3 and 5 a.m. Your brain waves are likely in alpha as well. So that's a lot of manifestation energy happening in alpha because you also don't have, again, that subconscious mind that's feeding you the negative thoughts and intrusive thoughts. So it's kind of like a level playing field. Whereas any other time during the day, you have so many messages going through your mind. But 3 to 5 a.m., that's where you manifest. And that's also where the spirits usually come through.
All right. Um, I just want to delve deeper for those watching to get a deeper understanding. So
Okay.
say you wake up at between 3 to 5 a.m., right?
Like all the
And
time?
how do you know like your ancestors or the spirits are talking to you?
Okay, that comes in with meditation again. So if you are not at that level of spirituality or just awakening, you're not going to know. You're not going to know. You're not going to even understand the messages. Like even if you saw the crow 10 times, you're not going to know what that meant. Even if you had ladybugs on you, you're going to be like, oh, it's just ladybug, flick it off. But that probably was your great grandmother telling you you're about to get pregnant. Like it's a lot of different methods of messaging that they do. It's just up to the person to really tap into their spirituality. A lot of people are just blank canvases.
All right. How many relationships do you believe started because of root work?
Mine, like my
No,
root
no.
work.
How many relationships in general, like out here in the world, what percentage of relationships do you think started because of root work?
Oh, I have no clue. That would be so subjective to the person, but I don't know. Without data, I'm a scientist first and foremost. So without data, I can't say it's 30%. I have no clue.
All right. All right. So when people come to you for relationships, like how does it work to, I guess, make someone be attracted to you?
What do you mean? What exactly are you asking?
All right. So if, all right, earlier we spoke about the main things people come from, right? You said
Oh,
protection, manifestation, falling in love, right?
and money.
How does that process work with the other person? Like getting them to be attracted to the other person?
So that's why they come to me because I'm creating that process.
Uh,
So it's just what I do. It's part of my everyday work.
is there any else? Like, could you elaborate on it more?
No, it took me a long time to get to where I am to be able to manifest this for people. I'm not just telling people what I do. No.
No, not in regards to the process that you do, but in regards to like, well, I guess you said the process. Sorry, skip that one. All right. All right. There's a lot of talk online about celebrities being witches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is this just for clickbait, or do these accusations have some form of legitimacy to them?
Both. Both. People love clickbait. People want to get the views. They want to be, controversial because if you're controversial, oh my God, everybody wants to go to your page. Everybody goes to you know, your YouTube channel. But sometimes it is valid, and some celebrities actually have admitted it. It's not like it's a secret or anything. At the end of the day, I think certain people say the word witch or witchcraft and they think negative. But people that are educated, people that understand that it's just about manifesting, it's just about connecting to nature, connecting to God, and spirituality without religion, they don't look at it as a negative connotation. So it's like, yeah, I'm a witch, and so what? I mean, Beyonce is open about it. Lana Del Rey, Princess Nokia, uh, Azalea Banks. There's plenty of people that are totally open about it, and some of them are not, and that's okay.
All right. And I know you touched on it, right? But the last thing I just wanted you to do is like, how would you define a witch?
Well, that is different to everybody, right? So witches are not like one specific sect of a belief system, right? It is cohesive. It is all inclusive. It is about really healing yourself through, for me, healing yourself and healing others, trying to bring people together, not being divisive, trying to ensure that you live the life that you want to live and not letting anybody else tell your story for you and not letting anybody else block you from manifesting what you want. For me, it's living without limits. So if somebody comes to me and says, I can't manifest XYZ, I've tried everything in my power. I'm able to tap into that energy to get it for them. So for me, it's just about helping the world, making it better, healing people, healing myself, utilizing what God gave us, a natural gift that God gave me, and then obviously tapping into the spiritual world, tapping into nature, the elements, earth, air, fire, and water.
So, where is this origin? Because the way you're explaining it sounds totally different from what we've been given in regards to this idea of a witch as this evil
Where'd you get it from?
goblin person.
Where'd you get it
That's
from?
I understand that, right? So I'm just glad that you're sharing a different perspective. So,
It's the
um,
truth. It's the true perspective. Everything else is being demonized because they don't want you to know that you can have this power. They don't want you to know that, oh my gosh, you've been lied to and manipulated. Because if you know that you can change your life, you're not going to go with status quo anymore. You're not going to do it. But of course, who wants you to do that? No, nobody wants you to be more powerful. Nobody wants you to have more money. They want you to stay, low level, so you're not doing better than them.
do you obviously have those who are able to do the work have a great responsibility, right?
Correct.
What happens if you use that work for wrong?
I don't know. I don't do it for wrong.
No.
I don't know what happens to them. What happens to people that murder people? and they're in a certain religion. What happens to them? Sometimes nothing. So it's no different. Spiritual work is no different than how people live their regular life. We're all spiritual beings in a human vessel. We're just in a body, but we're all spirits.
And I have another question too. This may be the last one, right? I have this discussion with people a lot in regards to this need to name powers greater than us, which you refer to as God or deity.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about that? Do you think man needs to name these things? Do they need names, or is this experience?
You do whatever matters to you. The problem is people always trying to dictate what other people should do with their lives. One thing I love about witchcraft, and at least what I do with my tribe, my community, why they love me so much, is because I really don't mind if you have this belief or that belief. You're your own person. I can't tell you what to do. I think the problem with religion is people try to tell other people what to do. You can't do that. I connect to God how I connect to God. I don't care how you connect to God. That don't got nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. So it's subjective, ultimately.
All right, cool then, man. Well, Satin says we give thanks for the reason the same way, right? We appreciate it. I learned a lot and got a different perspective, so we give thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, cool.